Mag-start na tayo bago masira yung laptop ko. Okay na? Okay. Good afternoon, good day everyone. So, this is our presentation and our presentation or discussion is all about the sigaw ng Pugadlawin or Balintawa. This is the chapter 5 of our discussion in the reading in the Philippine history for our subject. And first, before we formally start, I just want to ask, or I hope everyone is very familiar for this topic because this topic is very, you know, relevant in today's generation also because, parang tayo rin, na-oppress pa rin tayo ng sarili nating bansa or ng mga tao and ng ibang bansa din also. And for our introduction, for our next topic, before we start, I would like to briefly discuss what is all about this topic. The cry of Pugadlawin or Balintawak is a pivotal event in the Philippine history. It's marked the beginning of the armed struggle for the independence against the Spanish colonial rule. However, this topic or the cry of Pugadlawin, wala siyang maayos. Walang maayos na date, walang maayos na petsa, walang maayos na lokasyon kung saan ba talaga naganap yung event na to. So, the exact details of the cry of Pugadlawin or Balintawak remain shrouded in the mystery with the conflicting accounts of and ongoing historical debate surrounding its date and location. Marami tayong matututunan sa discussion na to. So, also this reporting or this discussion we are aiming to explore the historical context of the crime. We would like also to analyze the conflict accounts and evidence to provide a comprehensive understanding of the crucial event in the Philippine Revolution. So, for our learning outcomes, ayan. For our learning outcomes, for the first learning outcomes is to understand the various accounts of the first cry of the Philippines. At first, we will delve into the diverse accounts surrounding the cry. There is no single and universe accepted narrative. Different sources offer varying details, the date, location, whether the Pugadlawin or Balintawak, and even the precise nature of the event. We would like also to understand this conflict account in the crucial grasping the historical context and the challenges of the reconstruction of the past. The second learning outcomes that we have is to analyze, the event leading the first cry of the Philippine Revolution. Also, we would like to analyze the events leading up to the cry. This involves examining the socio-political climate of the late 19th century in the Philippines that drives the Filipino nationalism, the formation of the Katipunan, and the growing discontent with the Spanish colonial rule. Also, to understand the revolutionary conditions is very essential to appreciating the context of the cry and its significance. The third one is to evaluate the conflict account of the given topic and interpret the meaning of and the symbolism of it. The symbolism and the meaning is the very important thing para magkaroon tayo ng mas malinaw na perspektibo kung ano ba yung nangyari. Di ba lahat naman ng event is may meaning and may symbol? Dito malalaman natin kung ano ba yung pinaka-symbol ng sinisimbolo ng pagtatatag ng katipunan or ng Pugadlawin. Here, having examined the various accounts, we will evaluate the conflict narrative. We will analyze the sources, identity potential biases, and we will assess the reliability of the information. Also, this is for the critical analysis will allow us to interpret the meaning of the symbolism of the cry, moving with a simple understanding of its historical significance. And the last one is to understand the impact also. The impact of the cry of Pugadlawin or Balintawak on the Philippine Revolution and national identity. So, for the last learning outcomes, we will explore the impact of the cry on the Philippine Revolution and the national identity, regardless of the precise location and the details. The cry served as a catalyst of the revolution, galvanizing the Filipino into unfilled struggles for the independence. We also examine how the event shaped the course of the revolution and kung paano nag-contribute to the development of the Filipino nationalism and continues to resonate in the Philippine national identity today. So, again, before we formally discuss what is CRI, I just want to, you know, read this phrase in the PPT. A single cry echoing to the forest of Luzon, igniting a revolution that would forever change the course of the Philippine history. These phrases ay madadala nyo hanggang sa matapos yung discussion natin and also malalaman nyo kung ano yung pinaka-meaning ng phrases na to. And sana, bago matapos is magkaroon kayo ng magandang perspective kung ano ba yung nangyari sa araw na yon ng CRI. And for our next reporter, i-discuss niya ang slide na ito.
So, good afternoon everyone. So, my name is Angelo Cibernao and my topic is about the background of the first CRI. Next po. So, sa background of the first CRI, isa sa naging factor nun yung Spanish colonial rule. So, we all know that the Philippines was under the Spanish for over 300 years. So, sa loob ng 300 years, doon po ginawa nila yung mga pananamantala sa mga Pilipino, mga pilit na pagpapatrabaho, mga forced labor at mataas na buwis. So, sa loob din po ng 300 years, sa pamamalakad nila, doon po nabuo rin yung galit sa mga Pilipino upang mabuo yung katipunan. So, because of this, it marks as the Filipinos' decision to rise up against the Spanish rule and fight for the independence, Spanish rule, and fight for the independence, symbolizing the start of the Philippine Revolution. So, next po. So, in the other hand naman po, sa Philippines, so, background po, kaya po nag-umpisa yung first CRI is because of Andres Bonifacio and the Katipunan. So, before po natin simulan yung sa Katipunan or sa formation of Katipunan, dito po muna tayo kay Andres Bonifacio. So, si Andres Bonifacio, siya po yung father of Philippine Revolution. Pinanganak po siya noong November 30, 1863 at namatay po noong May 10, 1897. So, siya po ang naging pangulo ng Katipunan. So, next po. So sa formation of Katipunan po, hindi lang naman po si Andres Bonifacio yung bumuo nyon. May mga nakasama rin po siyang mga tao rin po na nanggaling po sa dating organisasyon na tinatawag na La Liga Pilipinas. So, sila po ay si Deodato Arellano, Valentin Diaz, Ladislao Diwa, Jose Tizon, and Teodoro Plata. So, ang purpose ng Katipunan, nakalagay na po ay to achieve an independence from the Spanish rule. Kasi nga po, hindi na po nila masikmura yung sobrang pamamalakad ng mga Espanyol. So, ito daw na po, after nung maaresto si Jose Rizal noon, nung gabing din yon at nadiskubre naman ng mga Espanyol noong August 10 ng 1896. So, kumbaga, ang Katipunan ay sikretong organisasyon siya bago ito nabunyag dahil meron pong nagtaksiyo. So, hanggang dito lang po dahil may magtatalakay pa po ng ibang parte nito. So, yun lang po. Salamat.
Hello, isang magandang hapon sa aking lahat. Ako si Valerie Rosas, ang tagapag-ulat. Ang iuulat ko po ngayon ay tungkol sa mga events to lead to the first cry. Unang-una po, gaya po ng naunang reporter, nabanggit niya po na gusto ng mga Pilipino magkaroon po ng independence, magkaroon po ng sariling pamahalaan ng Pilipinas. At saka po, dahil rin po, hindi rin po maganda ang pamamalakad ng mga Espanyol nung panahon po na pananakot po nila sa ating bansa. Nagkaroon po po kung ano po yung reservation sa peritakot na trabaho ng mga Pilipino sa Espanyol. At saka yung ano po, yung taxation. Yun po yung mga naging isa sa mga naging dahilan kung bakit po nagkaroon po ng mga alliance, ng mga ano po, alyansa. Pangalawa po, yung Cavite Mutiny at yung Cavite Mutiny saka yung tatlong Gugulza saka yung pagkamatay ni Rizal ay isa sa mga naging dahilan kung bakit nagkaroon po ng first cry. Bakit? Kasi po, nakita ng mga Katipuneros, bago po magkaroon ng katipunan, nakita po ng mga Pilipino na namulat po sila dahil po namulat sila sa nobela na ginawa ni Rizal. Napag-desisyonan po nila na ipagpatuloy po yung sinimulan po ni Rizal. Yung namatay po siya, hindi po doon nagtapos yung hadikain nila na magkaroon po ng kalayaan. At ang sumunod po nangyari sa pagkakadiscover ng KKK, dahil po yan sa pagtaksil ni nagkaroon po kasi ng hidwaan, kaya po nagkaroon po ng hidwaan sa dalawang kasapi ng KKK, si Teodoro at saka si Teodoro. Nagkaroon po siya ng hidwaan at sa oras na 6:15 ng gabi, inamin ni Patiño sa baril na nasasalakayin po yung San Mateo ng mga Katipuneros, at doon po nagsimula po yung the first sight po.
Naka-record.
Yun lamang po. Salamat po sa pakikinig.
So, good day everyone. My name is Joanna Marie Aresit, and today I'll be talking about the Cry of Pugadlawin, of how it really started, and the date and location where the two main version ng Pugadlawin, and then the key figures involved sa cry. So, how it really started. The Cry of Pugadlawin was a defining moment in Philippine history. It signaled the start of the Philippine Revolution against over 3 centuries of Spanish colonial rule. This historic event happened in August 1896 when the members of the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary group, were forced to act after Spanish authorities discovered their organization. The Katipunan, officially known as Kataas-Taasan Kagalang-Galangang Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan o KKK, was founded by Andres Bonifacio with the goal of gaining independence from Spain through armed revolution. When their secrecy was compromised, Bonifacio gathered fellow members to discuss what to do next. During this meeting, they tore up their cedulas or their residence certificates as a sign of defiance against Spanish authority. This act of rebellion symbolized the Filipinos' refusal to be subjects of Spain any longer. This powerful act of unity and courage became known as the Cry of Pugadlawin. So, the date and location, there has been debate among historians about the exact date and place of the cry. Sa date and location na po tayo. Next slide po. So, there are two main versions sa date and location. The first one is the August 26, 1896 in Balintawak. So, for many years, historians and even the American colonial government recognized August 26, 1896 as the official date of the cry held in Balintawak. This version was widely accepted because it aligned with the date when the Spanish government formally declared that a state of war existed in the Philippines. It emphasized the political reaction of the colonizers to the outbreak of revolution. So, next slide po. The second version is the August 23, 1896 in Pugadlawin. So, later research, especially the work of historian Teodoro Agoncillo, shifted the focus to August 23, 1896 in Pugadlawin, that is believed to be in a present-day the Quezon City. This version is supported by testimonies of actual Katipunan members like Guillermo Masangkay and Pio Valenzuela. These accounts state that Bonifacio and around 1,000 Katipuneros tore their cedulas in protest, officially starting the revolution. Next slide po. So, the key figures involved in the cry of Pugadlawin. Next slide po. So, Andres Bonifacio was the founder and supremo of the Katipunan. Siya rin yung naglad ng rebellion. So, next slide po. So, Emilio Jacinto was the youngest member of Bonifacio's inner circle and served as the group's advisor and writer. He is also known as the brains of the Katipunan because he was a key strategist. Next po. So, Dr. Pio Valenzuela was a doctor and an active Katipunan member. He's the physician and trusted Katipunan member as he played a vital role in organizing revolutionary efforts. Next po. So, si Guillermo Masangkay was one of Bonifacio's earliest allies in the Katipunan. So, he's the witness that helped shape the narrative of the crime. So, yun lang po.
Good afternoon. My name is Mariel Artiliano, and now we will tackle the definition of the cry and the symbolic of the cry of Balintawak. Definition of the cry. The term cry translates to El Grito de Rebelión, or Cry of Rebellion in Spanish. It signifies the moment of the Filipinos' decision to break free from Spanish colonial rule. The cry was a declaration of independence and the start of the Philippine Revolution. The cry means the tearing up of the cedulas, which means pag-iyak in Tagalog. That's why it's associated with the word cry. And originally, the term cry referred to the first clash between the members of Katipunan and the civil guards or Guardia Civil. This event fostered unity among the Filipinos who rallied together to fight for our independence. And the cry of Balintawak is a significant historical event that represents the decisive moment when the Filipinos resolved to fight for their independence from the Spain. Symbolic action. The term cry represents the symbolic act of tearing up cedulat or tax certificates and shouting Viva la Independencia Filipina or Long Live Filipino Independence. The cedulas were not just identity papers, it was the symbols of Spanish rule over the Filipinos. A symbolic act of defiance is one of the symbolic action of the cry of Balintawak or Pugadlawin. It was a direct act of defiance against the Spanish authorities, signaling the beginning of the revolution. Next reporter.
Okay po. Ako na po ang susunod na reporter. Ako po si Nikos O. Baarde at ang akin pong tatalakayin ay tungkol sa different accounts of cry of Fugadlawin or Balintawak. Ang ibig sabihin po ng different accounts po ay tungkol po may mga iba't iba po kasing may apat po kasi na saksi o apat po na sinalaysay kung saan nga po talaga naganap ang The Cry of Pugadlawin. May iba po na nagsasabi na sa Pugadlawin na ngayon po ay Balintawak, at ang iba po ay sabi daw po na naglakbay po daw sila sa mga bundok na maulan at doon po daw sa bundok na po yun na ginanap ang The Cry of Pugadlawin. Next slides po. Thank you po. Different accounts of cry. Several key figures have provided their accounts of the cry, each offering a slightly different perspective. Ayon po dito, narito daw po ang mga magkakaibang salaysay mula sa mga pangunahing tauhan na binigyan diin ang mga detalye hanggat sa maaari po nila. Kaya ang pagkakaiba-iba ng mga salaysay ay nagbibigay ng mas malawak na pag-uunawa sa kaganapan at mga pangyayari nung nangyari ang revolution. Next slides po. Ayon dito kay Guillermo Masangkay account, Guillermo Masangkay, Katipunan General, claim the cry took place on August 26, 1896 in Balintawak. He described a meeting at the house of Apolonio Samson where Katipunan leaders discussed the timing of uprising. Andres Bonifacio, sensing a delay, addressed the people outside, urging them to revolt. He then asked them to tear their cedulas. Ibig sabihin po ng cedulas ay identity papers as a symbol of their defiance or slavery. Yung cedulas po ay parang symbol po sa kanila ay slavery card po, parang ganoon po. Ayon po dito sa ulat ni Guillermo Masangkay na isang pinuno ng isang katipunan ay naglalarawan ng isang masiglang pagtitipon sa Pugadlawin. Bali, inilarawan niya ang pagtitipon bilang isang malaking pagpupulong kung saan pinahayag ni Andres Bonifacio ang paghihimagsik laban sa Espanya. At ayon sa kanya, isang malakas na sigaw ang pagkakaisa at umalingiw sa himpapawid kasi po napanood ko po na umakyat daw po sila sa bundok at napakarami po nila. Tsaka maulan po noon. Bali yung naano po diyan yung isa po siyang matanda po doon na andun po sa bundok, naninirahan. Bali pinakain niya po yung mga miyembro po ng ano po nila Bonifacio po. At ayon daw po dito na inilarawan niya ang sigasig at determinasyon ng mga revolusyonaryo, ang pagsunog ng mga sedula at ang pagpapakita ng kanilang pagkakaisa sa ilalim ng watawat ng katipunan. At ang kanyang salaysay ay nagbibigay diin, emosyonal na intensidad at ng pangyayari at ang malakas na damdamin ng nasyonalismo na nag-uudyok sa paghimagsik. Kaya ito naman po ang version po ni Guillermo Masangkay. Bali ginanap po daw ang Pugadlawin sa nung umakyat po sila ng bundok at may isa po dong matanda na nagpakain po sa kanila po. Next slide po. Bali si Pio Valenzuela accounts ay ayon dito po, Katipunan member placed the cry on August 23, 1896. In Pugadlawin, he described a meeting at the house of Juan Ramos where over 1,000 Katipuneros debate the start of revolution. After heat discussion, many tore their cedulas and shout, "Long live the Philippines." Ayon daw po dito, lahat po daw po ng miyembro po ng Katipunan po ay sumigaw po ng mabuhay ang Pilipinas or mahabang buhay ang Pilipinas. Bali po kay Pio Valenzuela naman po, ang version niya po dito ay bali si Pio Valenzuela po ay isang kaibigan po ni Bonifacio po. Ito po ay detalyadong ulat ng kanyang pakipagpulong kay Bonifacio bago ang tinatawag na The Cry of Pugadlawin. Ang kanyang salaysay ay nagbibigay ng konteksto sa mga pangyayari at na inilarawan ng mga plano ng Katipunan at paghahanda para sa revolusyon. Hindi siya direktang saksi sa mismong nung naganap yung araw ng Dakay nung sumigaw po sila, bale sa mismong sigaw, ngunit ang kanyang ulat ay nagbibigay liwanag ng mga pangyayari na humantong dito. Kaya bali si Pio Valenzuela po ay nung time daw po nun ay hindi daw po siya direkta nakasama po doon, pero sabi po sa mga nabasa ko po na ito po rin po daw na ang version niya po daw ay nagbibigay po daw ng malinaw po na detalye. Next slide po. Ayon po dito kay Santiago Alvarez naman po. Santiago Alvarez, leader of Magdiwang faction in Cavite, placed the cry on August 24, 1896 in Bahay Toro. He described a series of meetings starting in Kangkong and moving to Bahay Toro, where over 1,000 Katipuneros gathered. The meeting concluded with shouts of Long live the sons of the people. Mabuhay daw ang anak ng mga tao. Bali po dito kay Santiago Alvarez po, ang salaysay ni Alvarez po, bali nagbibigay diin sa kanyang personal na karanasan sa pagtitipon. Bali dito pa lang po ay kasama po siya o kabilang po siya sa nangyari po doon. At inilarawan niya ang mga detalye ng pagtitipon, kabilang ang mga taong dumalo at ang pangyayari naganap at ang mga damdaming naramdaman ng mga revolusyonaryo. Bali ang kanyang salaysay ay nagbibigay ng isang personal at emotional na pananaw sa mga pangyayari. Bali yung version po ni Santiago Alvarez ay bali kasi po andyan po siya sa exact na nangyari po yun. Bali ito po ay tumutukoy sa kanyang personal na kung ano ba yung nangyari po at ano po ang kanyang pakiramdam po nun. Next slides po. Dito naman po kay Gregoria de Jesus account. Gregoria de Jesus, wife of Andres Bonifacio, described the cry as happening on August 25, 1896 in Balintawak. She claimed the Katipuneros met at the house of Apolonio Samson and Torre der Cedulas marking the start of the revolution. Si Gregoria de Jesus ay asawa po ni Andres Bonifacio. Naalala ko po na medyo ginawa niya po to ng isang tula si Gregoria de Jesus po. Bali, si Gregoria de Jesus po, ang role niya po sa Katipunan po, siya po ang nagtatago po ng mga detalye. Kumbaga, ng mga papeles, documents, yung mga mahalagang pangyayari, siya po ang sumusulat po nun. Bali po kay Gregoria de Jesus, ito po ay isang kilalang pinuno ng Katipunan kasi nga po siya nga po nagtatago ng documents, mga mahalagay na bagay na dapat itago at ay nagbibigay din ng kanyang version ng mga pangyayari, parang sa kanya po at kasi parang halata naman po kasi nga siya pong nagtatago po ng mga mahalagang pangyayari kaya may chance po na sa kanya po talaga yung totoo. Bali sa kanyang salaysay po ay nagbibigay ng karagdagang impormasyon at pananaw sa mga pangyayari na nagbibigay diin sa mga particular na detalye at ang papel ng iba't ibang mga pinuno ng Katipunan. Bali ito po ang kanyang version. Bali sabi niya nga po bali nagkita po ang mga Katipunero sa bahay po ni Apollonario Samson. Bali parang yung katulad din po sa kanya, same version po sa una kasi po umakyat sila ng bundok tapos may isang bahay po dun sa bundok na yon. Bali maulan tapos pinakain po sila ng isang matanda po doon na isang magsasaka po. Tapos si Gregoria de Jesus rin po yung nagsusulat po ng mga mahalagang detalye po sa Katipunan. Kaya ang ano po dito, ang conclusion po, ang pagkakaiba ng mga salaysay ay maaring dahil sa iba't ibang mga perspective po nila ng mga saksi kasi yung iba hindi po kasama po doon pero yung iba rin po kasama po. Ang paglipas ng panahon, ang pagkakaiba ng mga alaala at ang posibilidad ng pagkiling sa pagsasalaysay. Marahil kasi sa tagal ng panahon, marahil may mga naidagdag rin po sila po dyan na hindi po natin alam. Pero ang mga salaysay na ito ay nagbibigay ng mahalagang impormasyon upang maunawaan ang konteksto at kahalagahan ng The Cry of Pugadlawin. Kaya bilang ang mahalagang impormasyon ay mas nakakatulong po sa atin. Kaya maraming salamat po. Tapos na po yung report ko po. Bali, next reporter na po. Ma! Doon ka nga!
Recorded yan.
Mga ano ko talaga to, mga pasika talaga to pag mga ano. Naman na ito na ipape. Doon ka nga!
Nakarecord ako yan. Ito naman ako isa na eh.
Wala po ba po?
So I will take over the report of one of our member na wala. So the collective testimony of Katipunan veterans. So Merong tatlo na na-research niya na merong collective testimony, which is nag-testimony about dun sa lipunan. So the first one is si Pio Valenzuela. Pio Valenzuela is very, madalas na rin siyang narinig sa reporting natin. And based this Pio Valenzuela is physician, revolutionary leader, and one of the key member of the Katipunan. The eyewitness testimony of Pio Valenzuela is the most famous for his testimony about his mission to Kalapitan. When he met Rizal in June 1896 to consult him about the planned revolution. As far as I remember, merong movie about sa the Cry of Pugudlawin. And parang sinasabi ni Rizal na, sinasabi dito, sinabi doon ni Rizal na parang tayo is kulang pa tayo sa mga materyales na panlaban. Kaya parang mahirapan pa tayong lumaban. Lumaban pa sa mga Spanish. And next is kay Brisilio Pantas, which is the role of this in the Katipunan is the revolutionary and the member of the Katipunan serve as the counselor of the organization. And siguro meron din siyang mataas na panunungkulan dun sa organisasyon na naitayo para doon para sa paglaya natin sa Spanish colonization. And the eyewitness testimony of Pantas was among those arrested after the discovery of the Katipunan. His testimony contributed for the revealing of internal details about the organization, its structure, and its membership. So the last one is Cipriano Pacheco. The role of Pacheco is a laser known as compared to the first two, but also a Katipunero. Pacheco is a member of the Katipunan, and the eyewitness testimony of him is he provided the testimony after his arrest. His statements were used to confirm the existence and activities of the Katipunan. This testimony were instrument in the crackdown of the revolutionary group to restore peace. Siguro, no, malaki yung naging parte din nila dun sa Katipunan at merong mga pangyayari na kung saan mas lumago o mas nakilala yung Katipunan dahil sa kanila. And next natin, next reporter. Nakamute ka, bebe.
I'm sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nurses R. Basco, and today I'll be discussing the significance of the first cry. So, what is the significance of the first cry? So, the cry of Balintawak is a very important event in the Philippine history that took place in August 1886. It became the part of national celebration. So, the significance of the first cry, it is marked as the
Kabastos yun.
official beginning of the Philippine
Napakita nila yung kabastusan nila eh.
So, dito nagsimula yung
Ulit nga
Philippine Revolution against laban sa mga Spanish. So, the tyranny of settlers was a powerful visual representation breaking away from Spanish control. So, they shout, Viva la Independence Philippines. So, yung the tyranny of settler or the tax certificate before, ito yung pinaka-importante na ganap noong the first time because it says parang ito yung symbolizes na declaring sa mga Spanish control. And while they're hearing up their settlers, they shout, Viva la Independence Philippines, meaning parang to break from Spanish. So, next po.
Kwenta lang
So,
yun.
on that Blas Bonifacio, the leader of the Katipunan, was a powerful figure. He inspired people to believe themselves and stand up for what's right. So we all know naman po that Andres Bonifacio is the leader. Yan, they built
Mm.
the Katipuneros and lived the Katipuneros. Now by saying po, and by what we say is um, significant na kung hindi dahil sa kanya, hindi magkakaroon ng kalayaan na tatanggol na ginagamit ng mga sa mga Spanish. Dahil sa kanila is nagkaroon tayo ng kalayaan na pinagtanggol nila yung kanilang mga beliefs, nakipagdigmaan sila. So, because of them, and because of them, is nagbigay siya ng kalayaan para sa maraming mga Pilipino. Hanggang ngayon, tayo po. So,
Oo, no,
last
bari
week,
ako,
sinurited
kapitan
the
mo ko.
Philippines collective decision
Wow.
to fight for freedom.
Abay, bari ako, kapitan mo
So,
ko.
this one
Tapos,
naman is,
pagsakay ko tricycle,
yun
wala
nga,
akong
dahil sa,
pamasahe.
Lakad na dun sa
pinagkutan ng mga
drive.
Pilipino kung gaano tayo
Oo.
kalakas, pinagkaroon tayo kung paano sila nakapagbigay ng kalayaan para sa atin. So, isang example na kung susunod
Oo, ganyan
is
ko.
the first try is the beginning or the first try is the beginning of formal declaration of separation against this country. So, no, whether despite of the controversies that we had is whether kung saan man nangyari yung para sa Lawis, Balutawa, itong August 23, 24, nangyari, is hindi pa rin natin, hindi pa rin doon masusukat kung paano doon nabigay yung ng mga kapitulis na kalayaan sa atin. So, because that happened in the past, we are now free from this Spanish control. And again, the significance of the first cry is the beginning of the beginning of the declaration against this Spanish. Thank you.
So, ayan. And for our conclusion, and I hope everyone nagkaroon kayo ng isang mas malawak pang perspektibo about sa nangyari at kung ano at ang iba't ibang accounts sa historical event nito. And for our conclusion, the cry of Pugadlawin or Balintawak, while shrouded in some historical ambiguity regarding the precise date and location, it's undeniable holds the paramount significance in the Philippine history. It served as a potential symbol of the Filipino people as a collective defense against the Spanish colonial rule. It's marking the official commencement of the Philippine Revolution. The act of the tearing of cedula, which is yung pagpunit ng cedula, is a symbolic rejection of the Spanish authority, ignited a widespread rebellion that fundamentally reshaped the national destiny. The cry enduring the power lies not solely in historical accuracy, but in its capacity to inspire and unite Filipinos across generations, and also the varying accounts surrounding the cry offered a valuable lesson in the complexities of historical accuracy, but it is the capacity to inspire and unite the Filipino across the generations. Also, it's a valuable lesson in the historical memory and the construction of the national narratives. And last, the dispenses of the national narrative, the distance in of date and location, highlighting the past events, emphasizing the importance of the critical analysis and the consideration of multiple perspectives. In this report, it inherit the ambiguity. However, does not um, all the information that tackled is not, diminish the event's profound impact. The cry enduring the legacy continue to resonate the contemporary discussion of the nationalism and the national identity, serving as a reminder of the struggle of the self-determination and ongoing pursuit of independent and sovereign Philippines. Understanding the cry is very important. It requires the grasping with its complexities, acknowledging the diverse narratives, and appreciating the events enduring the power of a symbol of the Filipino resilience and aspiration. So before I end this presentation, I just want you to know na ang kalayaan ay hindi naaagaw kung hindi natin ipapaagaw. Tandaan natin na hanggang sa ngayon, hinahabol pa rin tayo ng iba't ibang bansa. At nasa atin ang tunay na kalayaan. I hope meron kayong natutunan sa lesson namin, and I hope na hanggang ngayon, ipagpatuloy nating ipaglaban kung ano yung atin at atin ang West Philippine Sea. Salamat. Okay na, thank you.
Stop ko na po yung video. Ito po.
Be. Thank you.